Attractive people of Reddit. What are some negative things that come with being attractive? You can't just be friendly and joke with people. They almost always think you're flirting. As an ugly guy, sometimes I'm flirting but they think I'm just being friendly. Attractiveness is very subjective. For example, I think one of my friends is pretty hideous. But his girlfriend, who is way prettier than I am, thinks he's a total fox and the features I find ugly she finds unique and adorable. His ex was also ridiculously pretty. And he's the one who broke up with her. I think he looks like Napoleon Dynamite. But this seems to be an empirically unpopular opinion among the rest of my gender. All I'm saying is, no matter how you see yourself, you're someone's type. I guarantee that plenty of women are into those features you think are flaws. Don't put yourself down. You think you're ugly because you're not your type. This is very well put and quite true. I'll add that you should never go after someone who calls you ugly. Or thinks they're out of your league. Plenty of fish in the sea. Picking the one that doesn't like you back is giving up too quickly. Sometimes it feels like your value as a person becomes rooted in your appearance, and having a personality and experiencing the spectrum of human emotions shatters whatever image of you someone has created in their mind. This, for sure. People love to project. I'll admit that I'm considered attractive and that the positives outweigh the negatives. But when partners start confronting the reality of my life, I've often been relegated to simply a sex partner. Not a partner, which I understand for some men is the dream, but actually it's not. While I've never had trouble getting laid, I've had more than a few women tell me straight up that I wasn't dating material. Like, I get it, but it gets old, and it's not sustainable. This was me in my teens and 20s with very large boobs. Boys always chased me to get the physical aspect of me, and while I appreciate and understand that, I'm also kind and smart and funny. Why not stick it out for the whole package rather than throwing your dick at me and running? Luckily once I hit my 30s that kind of malarkey chilled. Mostly because I got wise to that type of dude and stopped wasting my time trying to get them to like me for real. I've been very shy and plagued with anxiety for most of my life. And people have actually perceived that as being stuck up and vain. I'm outwardly cold and unexpressive because I'm terrified of people, not because I think I'm better than. And I've also spent much of my life believing I'm ugly and gross. Attractiveness doesn't equal confidence. Whoa, this right here, that's me. I would high five, but this really doesn't seem like the right time. Closing parenthesis. People make assumptions that you're going to be cocky or arrogant, and won't approach you. I generally have to initiate conversations. There's also this odd behavior from strangers where it's perfectly okay to criticize my appearance in this passive-aggressive sort of way. I've had friends tell me that when they first saw me that I was going to be a bitchy girl. What a lovely assumption to make on someone's bloody appearance. People keep looking but don't talk. This is so puzzling when you're an ugly duckling and you don't really know yet that you're attractive. Sometimes people automatically think you're a fuckboy or a conceited asshole if you fit the stereotypical appearance of an attractive guy. And insecure men are challenged by you and instantly start treating you with animosity. Similarly, big, tough-looking guys are challenged to fights way more than normal or weak-looking guys. I knew two brothers who were bouncers. One was 5'10", wore glasses, and was quite passive. The other was 6'3", huge, covered in tattoos and had facial scars. The larger brother was always the one who had people challenge him to a fight. Well, duh. You're not proving anything by punching a guy with glasses in the face. But if you're beating up a huge 6'3" guy, you can flex how much of a raging idiot you are in front of your friends. As a woman, not being taken seriously, especially in a group of men. Yep, I have a friend who is head-turning attractive. She went to Stanford. In a STEM field, she had a group project in a class, and couldn't find anyone who would be in a group with her. When she asked someone why they wouldn't let her in, she was told that they thought she was dumb and wouldn't be able to do the work. They'd never worked with her before. They didn't even know her. There is definitely a point of attractiveness as a woman where people assume you're so pretty you cannot possibly be smart too. Lot of women in my eng programs dress down for some of those reasons. No makeup, glasses, it's a thing. I'm a female engineer and purposefully do not wear makeup to work. I figure my ability to do my job has nothing to do with what I look like. And my male coworkers don't get up every morning to put makeup on, so why should I? Me. Walking through the suburbs minding my own business, cars, honk. I fucking hate this. Startles the fuck out of me, and I feel like 9/10 people do just for that purpose. I'm a guy and I wouldn't do this, but IDK. I'm guessing they do it because they find it fun and they don't give a fuck. They really shouldn't though. My best friend is very attractive. People, especially other women, often automatically assume she is arrogant and that she thinks she is better than everyone. That'll ironically make her arrogant. Because society expects that. Not really in her case. For some people maybe. However, she now has a, I don't care what people who don't know me well think about me, attitude. People don't tell her she's arrogant. They gossip behind her back. She had some hard times in high school. Being objectified. People will ghost you or become flat out mean after they either get what they want, find out you won't give them what they want. This is not exclusive to sex. But sex is probably the most common. I wasn't always conventionally attractive and I used to be a bit of a loner weirdo until my early 20s. I will befriend anybody at work if they seem nice. Some guys might avoid talking to me because they think I wouldn't care about them because they're nerds or not very cute or whatever. Well, it's happened a few times now. Maybe 4. Where the guy the first guess isn't used to very much interaction with women, so they think I'm talking to them because I'm interested in a relationship. So after a few weeks of being friends, when they finally confess their feelings, it gets awkward. Most of the time it ends with them being mad at me for leading them on. People assuming that trying to have a normal friendly conversation is flirting. I literally dress like a slob so I don't get hit on as often or followed in parking lots. I'm not even that attractive. I definitely hear that. A friendly conversation with the other sex is so quickly seen as something more than just that. People assume I'm dumb. That's interesting. I think I read somewhere what attractive kids are likely to get more attention from their teachers and what not, so they're actually more likely to perform better. Aging. Because the perks I enjoyed as an attractive young woman are notably changed as I age. Yeah, it becomes a part of your identity. And when it starts going away, feels like you're losing yourself. I'm getting close to acceptance, but that transition is a rough time. Less about perks for me though. It's more about losing that easy confidence that I can dress and do what I want without worrying it looks bad. I don't know how to cope with the extra worry, but I'm working on it. Oh man. I started out chubby, got thin, and now I'm fat again, but being able to wear whatever I wanted for those 5 good years was amazing. I wore patterned pants. But I wouldn't change the education of how to hide problem areas either. Lost a lot of weight. Hope I can keep it off more than 5 years. A good perk is that now I have an overabundance of clothes that aren't too tight. I can even comfortably wear my old winter coat over my new one. Being harassed in public. I'm not super attractive, but after I lost weight and started meeting more conventional beauty standards, the attention I got skyrocketed. I have been followed around the grocery store. Groped by strangers while I went about my business. Shouted at on the street. It's scary sometimes. Yep. I've stopped wearing skirts in crowded places because of the amount of times I've gotten a hand up the skirt. I remember when I lost 100 pounds years back, I noticed tons of people were treating me very different. All the people that would side-eye me from across a room wanted to talk and get to know me. It made me kind of bitter because my personality hadn't changed. But they made fun of my personality when I was fat. I was going to say something similar but kept scrolling. Figuring I'd find a post like this. I had gastric bypass, so it feels like I cheated. It's a bit like survivor's guilt. The thing I want to tell all the still fat people is, yes. They were totally gaslighting you about how it doesn't matter. It does. The world treats me so much better now that I'm not that fat guy, and it's bullshit and unfair, and I'm totally benefiting from it. You are being robbed of your dignity and it sucks. And it shouldn't be that way. I've had several relationships where my partners would lie about how they felt. What they actually wanted, or times that I hurt them because they were more invested in keeping the relationship going than actually enjoying being in a relationship. So they'd say whatever they thought they needed to keep me from wanting to leave. Also people who feigned wanting to be in a relationship just to sleep with me, even though I'm already down for casual sex. I have a hard time trusting people. Sad face. I wouldn't describe myself as a supermodel, but I was a bit of an ugly duckling, having been on both sides. What I found surprising, at least as a female, is you are hated by far more people, mostly other girls, when you look good than when you didn't. Before people were mean, but it was usually more like occasional passive assholery. Afterward, however, it was active, overt hatred, bullying on a nearly daily basis. Not only did it intensify with the girls that were already mean before, usually popular, but there were suddenly a whole host of ones that were previously friends, in the same social class, and also many that previously didn't seem to even know I existed before. Which is odd. I describe myself the same way. But as a guy, funny enough, it had the exact opposite behavior on guys and girls. Guys started kind of just accepting me immediately as one of them and inviting me to things, which made me feel uncomfortable in a way I couldn't describe. Like they'd find out I was a dweeb. Girls were much more upfront about the change. One chick even told me, "Wow, you're hot now, I can't believe I was such a bitch to you in high school." I think a lot of it was the confidence gained more than the actual outward appearance. But it's crazy how big of an affect things like that play on how you'll be treated by your peers. I've always observed that in a group of girls, the pretty one is considered competition, while in a group of guys, the good-looking one is considered an asset. Source: not the best-looking guy in my group of friends. So always welcomed our model buddy to attract the attention of chicks. All the crime documentaries I have watched seem to indicate that an attractive woman is at greater risk of a stalker, jilted crush or ex-partner killing her crying face. And what they fail to mention is that you're also at a high risk of being stalked by other women. It's actually the same for both genders. Although, the number of guys killing girls is always higher. Men seem to get enchanted by me and fall in love at first sight. But after a while, they realize I'm just a regular person with flaws and lose interest because I'm not the perfect sex goddess they thought I was. Also, insecure mean girls hate on me. Somewhat related, I used to work in a bar which had belly dancer girls from all over the world. These girls were insanely attractive, and that was part of the reason why the bar got customers. As a socially awkward guy, the first found it very difficult to have a conversation with them even though I had to work with them. There was this one English girl who I thought was the prettiest. One day we were both on a smoke break and just had a random conversation. She shared some of her problems and about how exhausting it is that people only see her for her pretty face and not her worth as a person. She told me about some of her family problems back in England, and I'm not sure why I was shocked at how relatable it was. That interaction changed the way I saw women forever. I always used to put them on a pedestal. Especially the prettier ones. They are just human like me and everyone I know. They may look pretty and be a different gender, and they may come from a different culture, but they are still just people and they are not perfect. In hindsight, I feel like this should have been super obvious. But I realize it probably isn't. Given that a lot of adults don't see it this way either.